we all are facing similar problems, very crucial, where today's toppers are getting an edge. Now this part 5.5 and even 6, when we miss these things, we are definitely going to be penalized in our means, because syllabus is limited. UPSC does not have many options. That is not the way we deal with UPSC mains answer writing. Why? Because you need to have, and third and the most important thing, that is even more important than PYQs and the short notes, is that we are not even able to go beyond 4 points. We stop at 4 points and then we start writing generic points which do not fetch marks. Hello and welcome everyone. I am Simranjeet Maan, and today I am here to provide you a one-stop solution to all your answer writing problems. It doesn't matter whether we are appearing for 2025 or 2026, we all are facing similar problems. Some of us are not able to write answers. If we are writing answers, we are going above time limit. If we are writing within time limit, we are not able to fetch good marks. We are fetching 2.5, 3.5 maximum out of 10. And that is not at all sufficient to get a rank below 100. If we have to get a good rank, we need to score 4.55, 5.5 and even 6 out of 10 I'm talking about. Now, why this problem occurs? Because the three things that students usually miss. When we miss these things, we are definitely going to be penalized in our means. And what are these three things? First is the understanding of PYQs. Most of the students ignore PYQs, but in fact PYQs in mains are even more important than in prelims. Why? Because syllabus is limited. UPSC does not have many options. You can see that almost it has explored the complete syllabus. Now the themes are repeating. Okay? The themes are repeating. Even in current affairs, the themes are again and again repeating. For the 5% part where UPSC is trying to surprise it, there we all are equally placed. So we do not have to worry about something that is new to all. We have to focus on consolidating what is there, what is repeating every year, and that is based on PYQs. Second important pillar that students are missing is short notes. Now what the issue is, some of us are writing good answers, but what we are doing is we are writing them based on our short-term memory. We learn something from 5 sources and then we write an answer. Okay, we write an answer. After that, we forget where we read that from. That is not the way we deal with UPSC mains answer writing. Why? Because you need to have notes which you can revise in the week prior to your exam. If you don't do that, you will not be able to consolidate. You won't be able to write good answers. Again, that haphazard manner will be visible to the examiner in your answer. And third and the most important thing, that is even more important than PYQs and the short notes, is your ability to actively recall. Time that is provided to you in the mains exam is very limited, and that is the exact reason why UPSC is providing it. It wants to test how much content you can generate sitting there in the exam hall. And I'm not saying that the content will be something new. You will already know it, but you need to have specific approaches. You need to have specific structure to get to those points, how to prioritize those points, how to write them in sequence to fetch best marks. Okay, but forget about priority. For some of us, there is so much mental block that we are not even able to go beyond 4 points. We stop at 4 points and then we start writing generic points which do not fetch marks. You have to have the ability to actively recall. Some students call it brainstorming, and that active recall is going to be the core of the live classes in this course. Why? Because PYQs we will discuss, notes we will provide, but in the live classes, I will try to inculcate that habit, that ability into you, so that you do not worry about any question. Seriously, any question comes, you will have predefined approaches. 2-3 approaches will come. I will give you many approaches, but 2-3 approaches will come to your mind after seeing the questions. Apart from those, you have to pick one approach within the first 20 seconds and then start writing answer. And believe me, you will be able to generate 7 to 9 points then and there for the sub part. I'm talking about not the complete answer. For the complete 10 marker or 15 marker, multiply 7 by 2 and 3. Okay, that is the reality, and that is what we are going to do in the live classes. Okay, so before I start the active recall process, before I explain you the approaches, all approaches I won't be explaining. I will explain some sample approaches to give an idea on what you are missing, why it is not just your fault. You have not developed that approach system or the structure. Okay, but before that, I will show you this document that is behind me, Vidyastra Target Top 100. So this document is designed question wise, and it is designed in a manner that you don't have to look anywhere. Everything is here, ready-made introductions, ready-made conclusions, diagrams, maps, bar graphs, pie charts, approaches, content, examples, everything is in this document. Let me show you. To increase your visibility, I will sometimes go out of the screen, okay? So this is the question: explain how narco-terrorism has emerged as a serious threat across the country. Suggest suitable measures to counter narco-terrorism. Now, first I will give you just a peek into this document, then I will come back to this question. So how we are doing this: introduction, then there is an approach, keyword expansion plus data factual method, then this presentation part, very, very crucial. Very, very crucial, where today's toppers are getting an edge. Now this part, what generally happens once we have written the answer, when we come from the exam hall, then we realize I could have made this map, I could have made this bar graph, I could have made this pie chart, but by then it is too late. Okay, so that's why I have put it in the second part of the answer, so that it becomes your habit to make a very good labeled. You don't have to be cosmetically good. Labeling must be good, but okay, you can make a rough map of India, rough world map. Okay, that is fine. But this we had to make you understand that how beautiful it looks to the examiner, how impactful and effective it is for you to fetch marks in the actual exam hall. Okay, so 5 different maps we have provided in this. Why? Because these are holistic notes. These are not just for the PYQs. These diagrams you can again reuse in your next year, means 2025, 2026. Okay. Now this is the most important, the core part, the main body, and the approach here is process identification method. I will explain it. Okay. So these notes are provided in structured format, in tabular format, along with data, examples, very easy to revise. Okay, everything has been kept in mind so that you do not waste your time anywhere else. Now then we come to conclusion part. Here we have the conclusion part. Again, there is a specific approach to write conclusion for a specific question. You cannot just write anything and everything. Okay. Now this second question about India, Pakistan, China, again very well introduced, very well presented. Just 2 maps we require, won't take more than 35 seconds. Labeling at most after that will take up to 55 seconds, and the examiner will be really impressed. Then the spatial method I will explain this now. Then moving on to the conflicting issues, just let me go down a bit so that you can get and see the whole document very well. In every type of presentation, every type of introduction, this contextual lead-in expansion, this I am going to explain. This is a very important. Some student ask, sir, why there is a line in front of the question, and what do we do with that line? This line: social media and encrypting messages services pose a serious security challenge. What do we do with this line? That is what we will discuss in contextual lead-in expansion. Okay, this is a very good Venn diagram. You can make general diagrams. There are millions of diagrams available, but those are general diagrams. UPSC examiner, if you have to impress, you have to make specific diagrams, and that Those are available, and not only that, I will tell you how we are making this diagram, so that once it get into your memory, once you understand those approaches, you can make your diagram then and there only based on the data or the information you have. Okay. So after that, this is the next question. Now see this diagram, see this map. The question is on industrial pollution of river water. Now most of you will be hesitant to make a map in this, but once somebody tells you that yes, this can be done, you have in mind 3-4 rivers. 3-4 rivers are more than sufficient. Here we have given you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 rivers. So if you remember even 4 of this, you can use this across your answers. Okay, 9 I think. Okay, and this bar graph, this is directly from PIB, how due to mitigation efforts the polluted river stretches have reduced from 2018 to 2022. Okay, just let me go down. Okay, just let me so that I can use the time to explain you the approaches, because this is just the notes. These are available on the Telegram channel. The link is there. Now, yes, this is good. This I forgot. Now these are some of the most impressive diagrams. These are some of the most impressive diagrams. What are these? Pie charts, bar graph, bar graph, bar graph. Here in this question, we were discussing the problems of Indian irrigation system. Okay, so these are very, very simple diagrams. What we are doing here is we are showing the regional disparities in irrigation coverage to this bar graph. We are showing the water use efficiency of different irrigation methods, and you don't have to do this. Okay, this is just to give you a clarity. You can just draw simple vertical lines. It won't take much time. Okay, and this is the traditional methods of irrigation. Let me just come to question. This I wanted to show you. Now what happens is in paper 1 and sometimes in paper 3, UPSC does not specifically mention that they are asking about India. Like this question, the world is facing an acute shortage of clean and safe fresh water. So you have to make a world map also. Now world map, you don't have to be this beautiful, though this is also handmade, and this is made by my team. Okay, now what happens here is, once you give your examiner 3-4 data points on the world map, your answer becomes holistic. There is no point that examiner is not going to go above 5. Okay, so now let us come back to the start, so that I can explain you some approaches to make you understand what you are actually missing. Now let us first start with this question. Explain how narco-terrorism has emerged as a serious security threat across the country. Suggest suitable measures to counter narco-terrorism. Now we will go from introduction to conclusion, and we will step by step see how easy it is to write a good answer, provided you have practiced the set approaches. You see in this question, UPSC has twice mentioned narco-terrorism. So even if it had not mentioned twice, it is the keyword. Now whenever there is a word that is emphasized in the question, you need to start with the definition or expanding that keyword. Okay, now expanding that keyword, very good approach, but this was sufficient 3 years back. Now along with keyword expansion, what you have to do is you have to put in a fact. And if you can put in a fact that is that was the reason why this question was framed, then you have already impressed your examiner. So see this introduction. Narco-terrorism blends drug trafficking with terrorism, exploiting porous borders, insurgencies and technology to fund violence and destabilize regions across the country. So what we are doing, we are telling how it has become a serious threat. And this line, in February 2024, Narcotics Control Bureau, NCB and Indian Navy intercepted 3,100 kilogram of drugs off the Gujarat coast. If you have done this much, you have done a great work in the starting of the question itself, and it does not take much time. 45, starting with your answer itself, 45 seconds, this is done. Okay. But you need a confidence. You need somebody to tell you that this can be done, and this is a ready-made introduction. This can be used somewhere also, somewhere else also, in the next year also this can be easily used, okay? And if not, you have the approach, okay? Now next, move to presentation part. Presentation part, what we are seeing is we are talking about narco-terrorism. Now this is a geographical issue. This is talking about a geographical phenomena. We know about Golden Crescent, we know about Golden Triangle, we know about the Punjab problem, the drug menace, we know about the porous borders in Northeast. So if we just put them on the map and label them, our examiner has already understood that yes, we are going in the flow, we understand the demand of the question, and also the coastal part, Gujarat coast, okay? We understand the demand of the question, and we are hitting right where it will fetch its marks. Okay, so you can see here, these are 5 different diagrams that we have given. Why? To increase your range, to increase your domain, so that you can have multiple diagrams to use next year. Okay, this is gold. Seriously, this is gold that is going to impress your examiner so much. Okay, but this will take practice. This will take understanding the approaches that I will explain in class. Okay. This bar graph, again Venn diagram, again very good. Now in this part, I want to take the most of the time, because body is ultimately going to fetch you the most marks, okay? Now we know the question, how is narco-terrorism becoming a threat to security of India? Explain how it has become a threat. Now there are multiple approaches to answer different questions, but we need to understand which approach we have to apply and why this process identification approach in this question. Why? That is the question. Because randomly we can say this approach is applicable, this approach is applicable. No, there must be an underlying reason, an underlying principle why this approach we are applying, process identification approach. Now think about this. When you do a business, when somebody does a business, there are two things, two components in it: stakeholders and processes. Okay? Every big industry, business or organization has some certain processes through which they operate. In normal businesses, there are procuring raw materials, then refining those raw materials, processing those raw materials, production, supplying, marketing, logistics, inventory management. All these are what? Processes. Now you need to understand activities like terrorism, Maoism, insurgency, narco-terrorism, all these are like an industry only. They work on some stakeholders and some processes. In this case, that is the specific reason why I am stressing you that if you identify this approach, that the processes are important in case of narco-terrorism, then you will be able to fetch more than sufficient point to get you 5.56 or 6 marks. Let me tell you how. Identification of processes. When somebody is doing business, let us put them aside. We are talking about narco-terrorism. If somebody is involved in narco-terrorism, if they have to make it successful and make it a menace for us, because we are saying how it has become a security threat to us. If it has become a security threat to us, that means it has become a menace to us. And why it has become a menace to us? Because somebody is doing their work well and we are having some problems. We are, weak in some areas, okay? And they are successful in executing their processes. What are those processes? What are those processes? Let's see. If you are a person who is involved in narco-terrorism or drug trafficking, what will be your first priority? Your first priority will be to supplying your drugs to a location nearby where you are producing it. Okay? So location becomes an important factor. And India's location between the Golden Crescent and the Golden Triangle is one of the reasons why we are facing this security threat. Okay? Done? Second thing, what you will do? Once you have identified the location where you have to supply your drugs or where you have to do your drug trade, what you will do, you will try to find the chinks in the armor. You will try to find porous borders. You will try to find areas from where coastal or maritime security can be breached. Second point done. Okay. Third thing, what you will do. After that, what you will do is you will try to find people with similar interests. Okay, people with similar interests. Terrorists gets double benefit from drug trade. First is they are able to spread terrorism, because that is, if you are able to supply drugs into a country even for free, half of their work is done. And if they can get terror financing from it, selling drugs, then they are getting double benefits. Now there are three types of actors within India or outside India: non-state and state actors. Non-state actors first. Maoists, again involved in drug trade. Insurgents, again northeast bordering countries where we have porous borders. Pakistan, a state actor who is willing to supply drugs into India. Now all these actors, what they are doing, they are using technology also. Why? Because through technology, technology has become a very important process for them. Like we say, we want to integrate AI into our new business processes to make them more efficient. Similarly, they are integrating technologies like drone, cryptocurrencies, dark web to make their life easier. Okay. Now, once you have done all these things, now you need to find somebody insider, like we do insider trading. In businesses, there are insider trading, or let's say we are not insider trading, we call it corporate espionage. Okay. Similarly, what they do is they find weak officials who are not so honest, okay, whom they can influence, they can bribe, and then create conducive situations for them. So how we identified the processes and how we are able to generate the points. Let me just rewind all the points for you. Strategic location, porous borders, lax coastal security, terror financing, Maoist and insurgents, northeast areas, after that weak law enforcement, and some outside state actors. Now, one thing that you need to understand, for any industry, one most important thing is demand. If there is no demand for the product, then where do we sell it? So demand production is also important. Creating situations, creating circumstances where youth become addicted to it. There are social situations where youth get attracted to drugs, then all the problems are solved. Their processes, they have streamlined their processes, and these streamlining of these processes become a threat to us. That becomes a security threat. Now, mitigation efforts. Their processes, if we can tackle their processes, if we can fix our loopholes, that becomes our mitigation processes. If we can make our borders more secure, if we can reduce the demand in the country, if we can make our laws more stronger, like PMLA, PCPNDT, PCPNDT, NDPS, Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Act. PCPNDT is for prenatal and this diagnostics. These are similar words. Okay, so NDPS, all these things come in the ways to tackle those. So once you have, now I'm not trying to enumerate those points. I'm trying to give you a gist. I'm trying to the importance of approach. Once you have identified your approach, the exact points which the examiner is demanding start coming to your mind, and in that priority. Because we didn't start it from in a haphazard manner. First we identified where we have to sell it, identified the location, then we find how we get into that location, then we found people who can collude with that. First the outsider, then insiders, then state actors, and then how can we create the demand. Everything is so much organized, is so easy. Now this will take practice. Again and again, when I will tell you different approaches, everything will become clear to it. And this is very logical. You need to understand. I don't know if UPSC has asked this question or not, but narco-terrorism is an industry. And in any industry or business, there are processes. Definitely there are stakeholders. The stakeholders thing is not working here. Okay, this is not that type of question. Maybe in some other question. Okay, so this was for the body part. Now for the conclusion part. For the conclusion part, now it is easy to just conclude, summarize the question itself, but it takes courage, it takes a little bit of that push, that nudge to conclude it beautifully. Now in these type of questions where we are dealing with the problem, there might be some recommendations. It can be from a national committee, commission, or it can be from some outside organization or report. In this, we can easily conclude with the International Narcotics Control Bureau annual report. International Narcotics Control Bureau annual report 2023, how it highlighted that nexus and suggested the reforms. So this question we discussed. Okay, now similarly, there are different approaches for this question. Now, approach of contextual leading explanation to write a very, very good introduction. Okay, that I will explain later. And again, very good way of presenting this approaches. I will use spatial method approach for this. This question is discussing about the border issues with China and Pakistan. The spatial method is very, very effective and simple here, and you will can definitely generate 7 to 8 points here. Okay, so this I just want to demonstrate you the document I already showed you, and the approach, one of the approach, the effective approach. And this is not just the case here that this approach will be work here. As I already told you, this is the approach which works for businesses and industries, for different industries, different businesses, and many areas. This same approach will work, but that is our work. We will identify in the classes what approaches where we have to apply. So this was from my side. I hope I was logical. I hope I was able to solve some of your problems. Okay. These notes, the link will be available in the description or the Telegram channel where the notes will be posted. The Vidyastra target top 100 course consisting of all these notes, value addition material, and live videos with me is available in both in the description and on the Platform IS website. Again, as usual, I promise hard work from my side will be 500%. If you can give just 70-80%, our work will be done, and as the name suggests, we can see ourselves in the top 100. So this was all from my side for today. Okay. I hope again I was of some use to you. Thank you very much. Take care and all the best.